Good evening. It is 5:30 p.m. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Fargo Board of Education. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I will look for approval of our agenda. Melissa?
I move approval of the agenda with the HC addendum.
Second.
We have a motion from Melissa and a second from Nimal. Any discussion? No? All right. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposition, same sign. And that motion passes 8-0. Tonight, we do not have anyone signed up for recognition of audience to speak to us, so we will move to our reports. And I believe tonight that we will be hearing the FEA report from Krista and Marnie. Is that correct? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yep. Go ahead and Jill. Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself so we know who you are. Thank you.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. We are speaking as a group of SLPs and FEA members with Fargo Public Schools. I'm Marnie Pfeiffer. I'm the SLP at Discovery Middle School, and I've been there since 2004. And I'm also the special education rep on the FEA Executive Board.
Hi, I'm Krista Severson. I'm a speech language pathologist at Lincoln Elementary. I've been there since 2006.
And hi, I'm Jill Van Winkle. I've been in the Fargo Public Schools as a speech language pathologist for 27 years, and I work in the early childhood program. The job market for speech language pathologists is extremely strong. In fact, from 2022 to 2032, the projected employment growth percentage is at 19%. However, there aren't enough speech language pathologists available to fill all of the open positions. And this is something that we have definitely seen in the Fargo Public Schools as well. Particularly in the schools, many employers are reporting that they have more openings than there are available seekers to fill them. So what we're here to do today is to talk to you about our efforts along with our speech language pathology area service coordinator to start engaging more with regional university students, with the end goal to generate more interest, get more awareness of what it's like to work in the public schools, particularly in Fargo Public Schools, and to have interest for future SLPs to hopefully apply to work in the Fargo Public Schools. Like many districts, we face strong competition when we are trying to hire SLPs. New SLP graduates are often drawn to or recruited by hospitals, clinics, private practices, who are sometimes able to offer different work environments or different incentives. We are seeing the increased need at that same time for SLPs in the Fargo Public Schools. So much so that now we are having to rely quite heavily on contracting outside virtual speech services with agencies and hiring more speech language pathology paras. So something that we were thinking we could do a few years ago was to start to reach out and connect with future SLPs and show them the value of working in the public schools. About 3 years ago, we started reaching out directly to regional universities that have speech language pathology programs. Our goal was to give the students an idea, clear, honest, positive understanding of what it's like to work in the public schools directly from the professionals who are doing that job themselves every day. Since then, we have presented to several universities, and we have been doing so each year. This includes Minnesota State University Moorhead, University of North Dakota, University of Mary, and Minot State University. We have done these presentations both virtually and in person. And SLP degrees require a master's degree. And so we have been speaking to both the graduate student groups and the undergraduate students as well.
During these sessions, we focus on giving students a realistic and engaging picture of the profession within our schools. We walk them through a day in the life of an SLP at different levels: early childhood, elementary, and secondary. We also highlight the supports and opportunities available within Fargo Public Schools, including mentorship for new hires, continuing education opportunities, and the ability to transfer within district as their interests evolve. We make sure to provide clear information about salary and benefits, and we emphasize opportunities for students to get involved early through shadowing and internships. This year, we refined our approach even further by creating separate presentations for undergraduate and graduate students. This allowed us to better tailor the information to where students are in their education and decision-making process. While this work is still developing, we are already seeing encouraging results. We've noticed an increase in students reaching out to us to ask about shadowing and internship opportunities. Our hope is that these early connections will lead to long-term relationships and ultimately future hires within our district. In fact, in the past 3 years, 5 SLPs hired by FPS were new graduates who did an internship with Fargo Public Schools.
So through these actions, these interactions with the students, we also got some insight into what matters most to them as the prospective SLPs. They frequently ask what sets Fargo apart from our neighboring school districts. They ask what our average caseload looks like, what types of student needs and behaviors that they can expect, and what the balance is between the challenges and the rewards of the job. And all of which we're happy to answer for them. This would include questions also about the salary schedule and additional financial incentives, like Jill said, because those are available in some of the other settings. They also want to know know about workload expectations, including whether work extends beyond the school day. So these questions really helped guide us in presenting to future panels. We kind of have every time, made some adjustments to what we present to them. And it also ensures that we're being transparent with what it's like and being responsive to their concerns. Ultimately, what we are interested in is building a strong and sustainable pipeline of future SLPs for Fargo Public Schools. We feel that connecting with university students early and offering meaningful experiences like internships, clearly communicating the benefits of working in our district, we can increase our hiring potential and strengthen the support that we provide to our students that require speech-language services. But it really is long-term work. We've seen the need just grow and grow. And it's really important that investing in recruiting today will help ensure that we have qualified and committed professionals serving our students for years. We also feel this investment is best suited in cooperation with you, the school board, and with human capital to ensure that we're putting our best foot forward to attract our SLP candidates. So we appreciate your time tonight and support in this effort, and we're happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Did we have any questions? No? I observed, oh, go ahead. Greg.
First, thank you. That sounds like a lot of really important work to create that pipeline and make sure that, that's really for the benefit of the whole district, and taking it upon yourselves is kind of amazing to me that you're willing to do that outside of your normal work hours. So I just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to briefly share. I observed an SLP at ECSE, and the young student made a few wonderful steps, and the woman said, "How could you not love this job?" And so I think having you out there in front of teachers and saying, or in front of students and saying that, hopefully you're sharing your love is, I'm sure, is inspirational for them to see this as a valid career. So thank you very much for what you do and for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Next, we are moving to our report from administration. That's Dr. Steiner.
All right. For celebrations, I think we all knew or had heard our Science Olympiad teams at Ben Franklin and Davies qualified for the national tournament. So they will be going down to Los Angeles the week of May 22nd and 23rd Really exciting for them. Been a long, long time since that has occurred. So just great job to all of our students and our advisors of that. The South High School Drone Racing Team placed third at the Fenworks Drone Racing Regional Tournament, May 1st, and that was at NDSU, and that includes North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. It's not a state-sponsored event, but something that is growing in popularity along with esports. And I know that the North Dakota High School Activities Association is having conversations about partnerships for sponsoring events, not necessarily sponsoring them themselves. So growing a great deal. Heidi Horn, South High School health science teacher, became a certified Catalyst demonstrating teacher on April 20th. She's now one of 13 in the Fargo Public Schools, 3 at the secondary level, and the first at Fargo South High School. So congratulations to Heidi on that. With Kristen and I had a chance on Saturday to go to the changing of the guard for our Air Force JROTC program. Paul Dosh and James Gibson, who lead that group of learners, did an amazing job. It's not only the changing of the guard ceremony, they also have 2 drill teams that compete. They do their presentation, and then we do an award ceremony, but it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And if you haven't had the chance to do that, put that on your calendar. It's 2 hours of just great joy of seeing our students achieve at a really high level. Congratulations, Zach Holhalter was a nominee from North Dakota for the History Day Teacher of the Year Award. He teaches up at Fargo North High School, and so he'll be recognized and has a chance to go on to the national competition. Last night I had a chance to go to the Virtual Academy End of Year Awards. Mrs. Fichtner, Mrs. Bain did a wonderful job. It was a great celebration, and really, really amazing the amount of scholarships and awards that our Virtual Academy students have earned, and also the recognition about how we really truly have the top Virtual Academy in the state of North Dakota in terms of what we offer. People were amazed about the amount of clubs and different opportunities our kids in the Virtual Academy had. So it was really wonderful. Also just wanted to shout out to Allie. I had a chance to walk up and see the carnival at Longfellow. I told her when I walked in, I thought it would just be in the gym, and I saw like 4 things in the gym, and I'm like, okay, this is great. And then she said, oh no, hang on. And then we walked around to every single room that had multiple different things occurring with the line of kids out the door. It was just wonderful. I didn't stay for a lot because that was a little bit of overstimulation on my part. But just a wonderful job, Allie, and what a great experience for all of our students there as well. On some kind of the administrator side, tomorrow Superintendent Bachmeyer will be joining us on a site visit. We'll be spending time at Carl Ben, Fargo South High School, Lewis and Clark, and then in the afternoon, the Governor and First Lady will be joining us at the Explorer Academy to see what's going on there and do some tours and some interviews. So we're looking forward to that. Tomorrow afternoon after that, Fargo Cast Public Health is putting a tobacco ordinance event on to talk about flavored vapes, getting not only public health employees, school officials, and business owners at the table to talk through what it looks like going forward and trying to figure out how we, one, make sure our youth are safe and protected, but also how we can work with the business community in that. So I'm looking forward to that. I had mentioned a few different times that many years ago, Dr. Gross was one of the first ones to help lead a teacher leadership academy. It was one of the first ones along with West Fargo. NDSU kind of went away from that model. Throughout this year, we've been engaging NDSU in that conversation, asking them to bring back what it was originally. And Jason, your wife, was part of that as well. Beth Olson was part of that. Lots of still in Fargo teachers that did that. It's a way to earn a master's degree that is very grounded in the work of the district. So there's some theory, but it is saying, hey, when we're going to talk school law, we're going to do it in conjunction with the legislative session. So it makes a lot of sense. When you do assignments, you might do handbooks through the scheme of school law. When you talk human resources, you're going to talk through your eval system. And so it's very practical, ran multiple in Northern Cass and other districts throughout. The exciting part is after multiple meetings, NDSU agreed to go back to what the original version was. So we will be doing an informational meeting on Monday and hopefully kicking off our second ever Teacher Leadership Academy in the Fargo Public Schools. So an opportunity for about 25 people to get their master's degree working towards the work we do in our district. So really excited about where that could be. And I've had a couple teachers already reach out and say, I'm going to put my other degree on hold and I think I'd like to do this. So really excited about that opportunity. Today, thanks for all of you that were able to attend our legislative visits. I'm sure some of you will talk about that in your reports. But afterwards, we did have 4 legislators that went to EdClap and then to Discovery. And thanks to Amy and Jen for what was really, really powerful experiences in the classroom. I said it was interesting because I certainly did not tell them. I said, just show us what a day looks like. And I know our legislators had talked about worrying about too many or too much time on devices. And I said it was amazing. We were in about 10 classrooms and there was not one device that anybody was on. It was just really engaging learning. I said we couldn't have probably built that any better, but I was just proud of that because it does show the devices can be used to supplement and the devices in purposeful manners can be used, but our great teaching still does great things for our kids. So I appreciated that. That's all I've got for tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Next, we will move to our consent agenda, and I will look for a motion. Nimal?
I would like to approve our consent agenda with the human capital
Addendum?
addendum.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Nimal, and we have a second from Jason. Any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposition, same sign. And that motion passes 8-0. Next, we're moving along to business. We're starting with memo 107, the Community Outreach and Communications Monitoring, and I'll turn to Dr. Steiner for that.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll start off and share for Anne Marie's section, and then I'm actually going to have Dr. Jonas come up and share a little bit on the dual credit side and work-based learning. So in result 1 for this, there's the goal of 10 features per school. And you can see in the results, all but 4 have met that goal as of the second semester, but Anne-Marie fully believes that we will absolutely meet that. So again, the communications team is doing a wonderful job of a variety of different ways of getting our story out. And we've talked a lot that if we're not sharing our story, someone is. So I appreciate the proactive approach that our communication team is doing for media releases and social media and the shout outs. And also those media contacts when maybe something doesn't go right and we need to also share what that looks like. The next part was on website traffic, social media performance. Really the big focus this year, and it was even one of our goals was around ADA compliance. What you see typically in states is about every 3 to 4 years, you will have groups that come in and start looking at your websites. And it usually requires people to do a bunch of work to get it fixed. This group is doing a really good proactive approach to make sure we're compliant. I think next year one of the things is we're going to try to do a little more with translation so people have more access to our websites. And actually had a group reach out last week and said, your website is fantastic, meets compliance. Can you help us out a little bit and just what that looks like and how you go about doing that? So looking at our communications group as an exemplar. And then the last part is at least 150 targeted media messages. As of the end of April, we were at 129 and 55% of those were covered by the media. So again, I think just shows the power of what is a small but mighty department for our communications. So I can try to answer questions for Anne Marie and her team. If I can't answer them, I'll get the answers from her. But I will also ask Dr. Jonas if she would come up and share a little bit about the dual credit and work-based learning, and then I'll gladly come back to any questions on that.
Did I get this right? Okay. Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Steiner, and the chair and members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to talk about something that's always fun, and it's those advanced opportunities, enrichment opportunities that happen in Fargo Public Schools. And so 2 areas of focus have been just really looking at that dual credit experience. Dual credit isn't a new concept. It's been around for a while, but over the last few years, especially after COVID, institutions are rethinking how they work with public education and wanting more opportunities to partner with us, creating just a different dynamic in the work that that we do. And what we did find out is at times that was kind of happening maybe grassroots, which can be nice through our teachers in the classroom and the instructors at the college level. We also found from that approach that we had some inequities that might be happening, and that maybe we weren't able to keep on top of what was really happening with dual credit opportunities. First of all, to make sure that there was some integrity behind that process, that we could actually vet that through, so that we could actually promote it in our program of studies, and so that we could make sure that we could onboard teachers from all across our high schools. In some instances, you may know that with dual credit, you have to have some requirements depending on if you're an academic or a career tech ed, that looks different. And our teachers needed help with that. And then ultimately, we were really working with the institutions to find out, are there ways to create a more systemic approach to onboarding so that it doesn't feel so laborious for our teachers to get on board with that process. We did hear from some folks that it became so overwhelming at times that it was easier not to offer dual credit to their students than to offer dual credit. And I think really our goal is to create more of a systemic process that we were aware with integrity, could put it in a program of studies. Our counselors knew they were confident to share. We could talk to institutions about onboarding logistical procedures that would be more effective. And also just make sure that we talk about transfer of credits too. We also heard incidents where students signed up for dual credit and then institutions may not accept it. So how do we keep talking to our post-secondary partners about those agreements and honoring those credits too? So it's been a real interesting process, fun process, but I think as it starts coming together, right now we have around 50 classes in Fargo Public Schools that students have access to, and that is around 30 academics and 20 career and technical. And if students may not have an option at their school, then there's just that open agreement with our principals and Dr. Gross and the principals. We talk about this at the secondary, is that student would have access at another location. So again, just creating more opportunities for students to take advantage of their senior year sometimes, stay in school, but get a jump start on their post-secondary education. So you can see by some of the data, right now, our strongest partner is NDSCS, and that has just been in play for many, many years. And what we're looking at is how do we honor that past practice and then bring on more opportunities. What the biggest challenge really is when you have multiple institutions on one course, that can be very taxing for a teacher. So right now it's really looking at how do we stay the course with some of those established and then bring on new. And then also Dr. Steiner and I received a communication about participating maybe in an event with the higher education system on maybe that system that could help us bridge some of those complexities with the logistical pieces. So that'll be interesting. So that's a little bit about dual credit. And I don't know if there's any questions about dual credit.
Yeah, so thank you to both of you for those presentations. Do we have questions or comments from the board? Melissa?
I just had a comment that, first of all, this is wonderful, so thank you. But I was really surprised at how high our head count is for students participating in ND SCS. And so I just wanted to, I guess, give a kudos. And I think that's remarkable that there's so many students, like over 900 participating. So thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's amazing. I've been in some presentations where students are telling me how many dual credits they have when they're leaving high school, and it's very impressive. And it's causing them to challenge themselves, and so that's great. I think the other piece I'll just comment on too is the work-based learning experience. And this fall, I know Dr. Steiner gave us an opportunity to celebrate Shanda Cool, our new work-based learning business partner liaison. And so she's just been getting after it and signing up partners. And we have an agreement that we signed with Fargo Public Schools, Moorhead and West Fargo, Central Cass, Northern Cass. So that consistent agreement, again, back to the systems approach, that when companies come on board with us, they'll know that this document is consistent from one school district to the next, that we've looked at it for any kind of liability reasons. Thanks to Tara for her insight and expertise on that. And then also just, again, we're onboarding teachers now to have them be our teacher of record. So we have more of a systems approach to work-based learning. We had a big kickoff with the FMWF Chamber of Commerce, Interest to Impact, a couple weeks ago in a panel. And that was, our goal was to inspire 650 businesses to onboard, so that with those businesses, now we have students have opportunities. And obviously, Patrick Manier and Golden Path has been a person working with us on how to bridge that relationship between the industry partners and our school interested students. So much work to do, but a lot of exciting opportunities ahead for our students. So.
Robin?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept that reasonable progress has been made in RSI 4 for the 25-26 school year.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Robin and a second from Ally. Any more discussion or comments? Greg?
Yeah, for the work-based learning stuff, I don't see any data from the 24-25 school year. And like the measure is specifically about comparing previous year to this year. So
yeah.
it's in there for the dual credit stuff. Could you provide some context of where we were with work-based learning last school year?
Last school year, off the top of my head, well, first of all, I think there's a couple layers to that. I'll say that we have our simulated work experiences. I tried to lay it out tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So I'm going to say in our tier 2 experiences, those are really coming through our classroom curriculum and experiences. And so that is relatively the same. I could give you data. I can look it up in our Choice Ready dashboard. But when it comes to cooperative work experience, paid work experiences, we would have had less in that category. And our summer work experiences, we average around anywhere from 35 to 50. And then during the school year last year, we really only had about 10 students complete cooperative work experience. So this year jumping to 21 was kind of doubling it. And then, but our summer work experiences stay about the same, and they range anywhere from 35 to 50 depending on the students. I can provide some exact data and send that out to the board to compare those two, if that's helpful.
Purely because that our result asks for that. I would like to see it. I'm not going to hold up what we're are monitoring, but I would like to have that as a supplemental piece of data.
Sure, yeah.
Dr. Jonas, if you'll send that to me, I will include that in my weekly report to the board.
Okay.
And we'll make note to make sure that we got that comparison data for next year.
Right. I probably was focusing on the results for this year because we had so much more focus this year than our growth year. So thank you. I will do that.
Any other questions or comments? Greg?
So for the first result, measure 2 specifically discusses social media performance, and it wasn't included anywhere in the memo. I don't know if we have like a blurb about how our social media performance was, but it is in our measure.
Okay, I will talk to Mrs. Campbell and get that as well.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we are ready for the roll call. Tara?
Robin Nelson,
Yes.
Ollenberger,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Dye,
Day.
Day,
Yes. I am tired.
Jason Nelson,
Yes.
Kristen Nelson,
Yes.
President Christensen Meinier.
Yes, motion passes 8-0. Next, we are moving to Memo 108. This is regarding the superintendent contract. This comes from me, and I want to thank Jason and Greg for serving on the ad hoc committee. This idea was brought to us from Dr. Steiner. He requested basically that we freeze his salary for his second year of employment with us due to our budget cuts. He cannot change his salary on his own, which meant we had to reopen negotiations and have an ad hoc committee meet for that. So if you take a look at the contract that we are hopefully going to be approving here or discussing soon, what we did was we created a 3-year contract. So he was originally given a 2-year contract. He's coming to the end of that first year. So then when His next year starts with us on July 1st. That will actually be the beginning of a new 3-year contract. His salary for that first year will be the same. The first year of the contract will be the same as his first year with us. So that represents that freeze from his first year to his second year of employment with us. After that, his salary will increase for the next 2 years based on the overall percentage increase to this teacher's salary matrix for those contract years. So that's a number that Jackie calculates. We know that within the matrix that teachers kind of jump around in different levels, but what we're looking at is the percentage increase from 1 year to the next. So for instance, I think when Jackie shared some numbers with us over the past 4 years, there was 1 year where that number was over 6%. The other 3 years, it was under 2%. So it was like 1.97, 1.7, something like that. They were all under 2%. So for those next 2 years, that's what his salary increase would be based on, is the same as the average from the matrix increase. He also requested in his previous contract, he had unlimited PTO, and we changed that to be 35 days of PTO, just for more transparency and accountability. And then there was also an increase to the supplemental retirement plan. So with that, I would look for a motion, and then we could start discussion. Go ahead, Jason.
That the Board of Education of the City of Fargo approve the 3-year superintendent contract with Dr. Corey J. Steiner commencing on July 1st, 2026.
I will second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Jason and a second from Ally. Do we have any discussion or questions? Ally?
First of all, just thank you to the ad hoc committee for this work. Also, I really want to also call out the increase to Dr. Steiner's salary in conjunction with the teacher's salary. I think that is just a really great leadership reflection, and it shows just good leadership from the top. And I hope that our teachers also see that and feel that too. So thank you to you guys and to Corey for bringing us this opportunity, and I'm in favor of this motion.
Thanks. Jason?
Just one clarification. Corey had unlimited PTO, meaning he could take as many days off as he wanted throughout the year. He asked for days of PTO. We settled on the number 35. That is unpaid. So whether he uses 8 days or 35, it's the same. There's no dollar amount assigned to that. There's no rollover, so it doesn't cost the district any money. It is simply for tracking purposes. So if someone asks how many days of PTO related to health or whatever it is, he has a number associated with that.
Thank you for that clarification. Other questions or comments about the contract? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I guess had a little bit of a clarifying question, and I know, Jackie, we were going back and forth a little bit, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but we had fairly consistent raises to this teacher salary matrix except for 2025, and was that from the negotiated agreement that was started in 2023?
So it would have been the negotiation cycle started in 23 for 24 and 25.
Okay. And then the jump didn't happen until 25. I guess I was just confused about why year 2 would be so different. And I know this is like kind of irrelevant, but I like knowing that there would be some sort of predictability to what the raises would be, and this was sort of an outlier.
All I can say is that is what the board negotiated with the Education Association for those years.
Okay. Other questions? Are we ready for the roll call? Okay, go ahead, Tara.
Ollenberger,
Yes.
Berkland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Jason Nelson,
Yes.
Kristen Nelson,
Yes.
Robin Nelson,
Yes.
President Christensen Meinier.
Yes, that motion passes 8-0. And next we are moving to memo 109, school lunch prices. Greg, are you going to introduce that, or should I turn to Jackie?
I think I can do it.
Okay. Did I throw you
I was
off?
expecting Cindy to be here because in the past she.
Oh, sorry. Should I go to Cindy?
She's here. Okay.
Or do you want to introduce
trust-
Cindy?
all right, how about you stand up and wave if I get something wrong?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So this will sound very familiar to everybody here because we have to do this every year. But yeah, our lunch prices are lower than what the federal government wants them to be. That's the long and short of it. And when that happens, they want us to raise our prices by at least a dime. So that's pretty much what we're doing. There's a handful of things that we're raising by 15 cents. But really, we're still below what the federal government wants us to be charging for our meal prices. And so we're just kind of dragging our feet, so to speak, to keep increasing them to because we have to. I really like the table at the bottom of the memo. The annual increase to families, for secondary, each meal less than $30. For elementary, it's less than $20 annually. So the dimes do add up, but they're not really adding up.
Did you want to make a motion?
I'd love to. I move that we approve the nutrition services meal price increase as proposed for the 26-27 school year.
I'll second that one too.
Okay, we have a motion from Greg and a second from Ally. Any discussion? Robin?
I think some clarification on why the feds want us to increase these dollars is tied to, they are encouraging us to buy healthier meal components. So just some context in that statement.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, I think we're ready for the roll call.
Berkland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Day,
Yes.
Jason Nelson,
Yes.
Kristen Nelson,
Yes.
Robin Nelson,
Yes.
Olenberger,
Yes.
President Christensen Meinier.
Yes, motion passes 8-0. We are now moving on to our board reports. Kristen, is it okay if I start with you?
You sure can. Let's see, Sunday the 3rd, I attended the FYI meeting. We hold them here in person now. And our new chair, Satya, she is an organized, just firecracker. She is going to do some wonderful things with FYI this upcoming year. We had guests. Charlie Adams from the Chamber talked about civic engagement, which led to quite a bit of good conversation. Tom Cook with YouthWorks talked about the We've Got You Covered clothing drive. They're looking for volunteers, and we think that might be a good match for the FYI members. And then Frederick Williams, he talked about the MLK event for next year, looking for maybe volunteers and ideas for that. We got updates from Fargo Parks. Dr. Steiner and I provided updates from the school. FYI will be tabling to get out the vote at the end of May, bringing resources to the high school for seniors and also trying to reach their parents so they know to vote in the upcoming election, both in this one in June and targeting the midterm. And then, like Dr. Steiner said, I had a chance to attend the AFJR OTC change of command ceremony at Fargo South. That was a special event, and I will try to go again next year. It was really wonderful. They have the drill teams who perform and compete around the state, and I was talking to the commander, and he said that they don't have to try out. They can join if they like, if they're interested in doing that. And then Christy Brandt and I were talking this morning, and she really said, and it kind of hit home, that this is an activity for the kids who might not have something else that they would want to feel comfortable participating in, that they've kind of found a home at. And when we watched the award ceremony later the afternoon on Sunday, you could really tell the camaraderie and the teamwork and how close they all got because of how they cheered each other on when they received their awards. It was really special. That's it.
Thank you. Melissa?
Yes, so thank you to all of the negotiation committee members for responding to the doodle poll. We are set for May 28th at noon, so that should have popped up on your calendar. And then I just wanted to remind everyone, you got this announcement, I think earlier this week, but tomorrow night at 5:30 is the Native American Education graduation ceremony, and it's going to be held at Agassiz in their gym, if you want to participate.
Thank you. Greg?
Yeah, on the 30th of April, I attended the FPS Foundation fundraiser. They had it at Sweet Shots. It was a lot of fun. Since Nikki's not here, I'll mention for her because I know she was also there. The raffle may have been rigged because Tara won. I'm not bitter. On the 4th of May, I met with Dr. Steiner one-on-one to talk about a few things. The next day, planning met. We had governance yesterday, and then today I attended the legislator info session, but I won't give you details on that and steal Robin's thunder, so I'll let her go.
How very kind of you. On April 30th, I attended the North Dakota School Board Association Southeast Regional Meeting in Valley City. They are kicking these back off after several years hiatus. I did send some updates to the board just because there were so many and I wanted to save time at this meeting. Nikki also attended. I'll stand in for Nikki in her position as NDSBA board member. On May 6th, I'm going to share a community event that related to public schools, Sanford Community Breakfast. It was attended by partners and legislators. I was invited as a community partner and Jason was there. But the connection to education is they are really working closely with a lot of our FPS and educators on internship programs and developing their workforce. They cover all 16 career clusters. So it was pretty fascinating to watch or listen to. So thank you to Tiffany at Sanford. On May 6th, I attended Southeast Education Cooperative board meeting. A couple highlights. We finalized the executive director evaluation. I led that process. He also mentioned, Dr. Steiner, that they are meeting with you to partner on level D facilities. I think you mentioned that this morning. And they, as everybody else, are experiencing a 16% increase in their medical insurance premiums. I attended governance on May 11th, and this morning, as mentioned earlier, we had the legislative info session. We had 8 current legislators attend and 3 candidates. I sent a debrief on that as well, but we will follow up on that and analyze at our next Governmental Affairs Committee meeting in June.
Great, thank you. Namal?
Sure. Thank you. So yesterday I had a lovely, I have a lovely evening yesterday attending Virgil Academy Reward Night. Oh my God, where can I start? I had a ton of messages notes actually that I wrote up, but somehow I don't know what happened to them. What happened to them? Sorry, I kind of got carried sometime. So they gone from service learning to leadership to philosophy to community services. It's just the reward are so many diverse background from every student, and there's one student that kind of really stand out for me, and I know that we can't say their name here, but boy, I didn't know that she took courses that are pretty much, she doubled up the same thing as a couple of our speakers spoke to earlier regarding those, and especially like taking dual credit and so forth. and she ended up getting her language art degree. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then she was presented with that, so pretty much it's like an associate degree from college, and so forth. And that's what I was very amazed with. And then also to a ton of scholarship that she received. I was counting in my head is like, how many scholarship are those? But it's not only that student, it's just the services that they really and while they are in school, they are serving outside the communities, and it just really is amazing for what our students are doing in the Virgil Academy. I was totally like, wow, this is really amazing, and then also to the increase to every year, and I thought it's a program that we can remove. It need to be capped, and yeah, that's all I have for tonight, but I was just very excited about it, and congratulations to all of them and the parent. They did a wonderful job raising their kids, because I know it's not easy to have your kids, try to put them on restricted schedules, and trying to make sure that they turn in their homework on time. And it's pretty much like, sorry, like 95% of them are like attended is perfect. And I was like, what is going on here? And I was just like, wow, kudos to all those teachers that are doing amazing job at the Virgil Academy. And to all of them too at Fargo Public Schools. I think that you guys are doing your best to make sure that our students they are top of their class. So I really appreciated what I saw yesterday was really top-notch excellency, and I'm really proud. So thank you.
Thank you. Jason?
I attended the planning meeting and legislative meeting this morning, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Allie?
As Dr. Steiner alluded to, we did have the Longfellow Carnival, which is my favorite thing to chair every year. And a huge thank you to Dr. Steiner for attending. I had no less than 10 families be like, wow, the superintendent showed up? That's pretty awesome. And so just again, going back to Corey's presence in the school, it's really felt, and people very much appreciate seeing him around our schools. So thank you for that. Very much a huge shout out to Robin and the GAC committee for the legislative breakfast this morning. I always learn something when I go to those two, and I really want to highlight the fact that we had some students joining us this morning too. So that was a really great treat. I always love hearing from them and talking about the cell phone ban and how it really affected them and bringing some ideas forward. One of the things that they brought forward was having a personal device to be able to do college scholarships. So I'm glad that we're hearing that feedback and working through ways to be able to overcome those challenges. And I'm looking forward to the panel discussion tomorrow at Fargo South and to be able to show off our Explorer Academy. One of my favorite things about walking through that building is while it is secure, it has a sense of safety. And it really means to me that these kids have a safe space to learn, and they really do learn a lot of great skills there. And it's a jewel to our system. So I'm excited to show it off tomorrow. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much. I will share that since we've met last, we had our ad hoc committee meeting regarding the superintendent contract, which you just approved. I also attended the Sweet Shots fundraiser, and I'm really bad at golf, but apparently I'm really good at Angry Birds at Sweet Shots, so that was a tiny victory for me. I also had my monthly meeting with Dr. Steiner. I visited Carl Ben Eielson for their race car race powered by carbon dioxide project that they did, which was really quite fascinating. And those things can really fly down the hallway, like really super fast. The students shared with me how they designed and built the cars, and how things like how they're weighted, and if they're painted or not, and even like which side of the hallway they're on, because there's more wear on one side of the hallway than the other, impacts the speed and like which car is going to win. So that was kind of neat to see. In governance yesterday, we discussed reviewing our committee structures and planning a summer training session focused on the mill levy and strategic plan. So more information on that to come. And stay tuned, we do have a work session, so we'll take a break, but please don't leave. Our next meeting is May 26th. It is 6:19 p.m. and we are adjourned.